Yeah.
Welcome back to the Gridiron Expert. The Orange Bowl marks the last New Year's Six bowl game of this college football postseason, and it's going to be a good one. We've got number 5, Texas A&M, taking on number 13, North Carolina. A great matchup, great teams led by great coaches, with Texas A&M's Jimbo Fisher taking on UNC's Mack Brown. You know, this is an intriguing game, guys, for a lot of reasons. Not just because of the star power and the talent on both sides, not just because of the coaching battle here, but also because we're looking at A&M, the number 5 team in the country, that was one spot away from making the college football playoff. They were left out of the playoff, guys, and every year it's always interesting to see how that number 5 team or number 6 team in the country does in their bowl game, knowing that they were snubbed, usually, by the committee. And Texas A&M certainly believes they deserve to be in, maybe over Notre Dame, certainly over Ohio State, many believe, since the Buckeyes only played 6 games. So it will be interesting to see how Texas A&M plays in this game. Will they be motivated, out to prove a point, or will they be down on themselves, disappointed they did not get a shot at a national championship? So guys, as always, we're here to break down this Orange Bowl. We're going to break down the offense, the defense, the keys to the game, motivation, certainly going to be one of them, and then who we have winning this Orange Bowl down in Miami. So let's start on the offensive side of the ball, guys. Let's start with Texas A&M. They're averaging 31.9 points per game, and they're very balanced. 234.9 passing yards per game, 202.9 rushing yards per game. You know, I think everybody wants to talk about Kellen Mond, the quarterback. He's thrown for over 2,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions, takes great care of the ball, and has shown at times his dual threat capability. We know he is a little bit of a mobile quarterback. But sure, he's going to be a key. He's a guy that's going to play a major role in whether or not A&M wins or loses this game. But I want to talk on Isaiah Spiller. Isaiah Spiller, to me, is the key for Texas A&M in this one. Spiller has rushed for over 900 yards, 986 yards, and 7 touchdowns. So he'll certainly crack 1,000 total yards on the year in this Orange Bowl. He's rushed for at least 100 yards in 6 of Texas A&M's 9 games this year, behind one of the best offensive lines in the country. A&M has one of the best offensive lines in the country. We will talk more on that here in a little bit, but that's a major storyline to watch out for. They have created lanes for Spiller all year long. They've given Mond tons of time, plenty of protection all year long. See if they can do it one last time in what is arguably their biggest game of the year. North Carolina, you look at them, way more electric than Texas A&M when it comes to offense. They were one of the teams that I was really looking forward to watching this year. They haven't let me down. They've averaged 43 points per game and 556.6 total yards per game. It's unreal how electric this UNC offense is. But it should be noted, they're going to be missing some key players on offense in this game. They're going to be missing their leading rusher in Michael Carter, who's rushed for over 1,200 yards and 9 touchdowns this year. They're going to be missing their leading wide receiver, Mack Brown, who has over 1,000 reception yards and 8 touchdowns this year. So you're missing your leading rusher and your leading wide receiver. For most teams, that's a problem. That's a cause of concern. For UNC, yes, that hurts. You wish they were playing. They got plenty of star power behind them. You've got Sam Howell, your quarterback, still leading in this game. He's thrown for over 3,300 yards, 27 touchdowns to just 6 interceptions in his sophomore season. You've got Javonte Williams, another 1,000-yard rusher. He's rushed for over 1,100 yards and 19 touchdowns. And then you've got Daz Newsome. Daz Newsome, who has over 600 reception yards and 5 touchdowns this year. The Tar Heels are averaging nearly 250 rushing yards per game, over 300 passing yards per game, and I don't think you see a major slippage in offensive production in this game against Texas A&M. It'd be better if Carter and Brown were playing, but they've got plenty of guys that can step up and continue this as offensive success like we've seen all year long from the Tar Heels. You look at the defense for Texas A&M. Even without those North Carolina players, this Texas A&M defense will be tested, guys. They're going to be tested, much like any team will be tested or has been tested when they've played North Carolina. The Aggies, though, very solid defense within the SEC. I think they're a defensive unit that, personally, I don't think they're getting talked about enough. I don't think they were talked about enough in the SEC this year. The Aggies are allowing just, again, 21.1 points per game. They've allowed just 316.6 total yards per game. And their rushing defense, that's the key. The rushing defense, one of the best in the country. The Aggies are allowing just 92.2 rushing yards per game. Let's keep in mind again, North Carolina is averaging nearly 250 rushing yards per game, and they had 554 rushing yards the last time they played a game against Miami. All right? A&M's allowing less than 100 rushing yards per game. UNC is averaging double that, more than double that per game. Something's got to give here. Either North Carolina's going to have another big day like they did against Miami, or this Texas A&M defense, that front seven for the Aggies, is going to step up and force Sam Howell to win the game through the air. And when he does, or if he does, he has to face an A&M secondary that has 9 interceptions this year. They've played 9 games. They're averaging about an interception a game. Better watch out for the Aggies defense. They have not been talked about enough. They're going to be a stiff test against this UNC offense. You look at North Carolina and their defense. They are allowing 28.4 points per game, so about a touchdown worse than Texas A&M. About a touchdown difference there. They're allowing 147.8 rushing yards per game, and I think that's another key number you want to look at here. Kellen Mond and Sam Howell are going to go at it. And right now, if I'm looking at a quarterback edge and a wide receiver edge, I'm giving that edge to North Carolina and Sam Howell. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But Isaiah Spiller, again, is that key for that Texas A&M offense. And 147.8 rushing yards per game, yeah, it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but that's enough. That's enough wiggle room for Isaiah Spiller to crack 100 yards again. His 7th time that he could do that this season. He's going to have his work cut out for him, but he can certainly do it. And you look at this North Carolina passing defense, guys. We talk so much on the rushing defense. You look at the passing defense. I'm looking at the collective body of work all year long for the Tar Heels. And I wonder which defense as a whole, but especially in the secondary, which one's going to show up? Are we going to see a defensive performance like we saw against Miami, where they dominated the Hurricanes, won by 36? Or are we going to see a defensive performance like they had against Wake Forest, against Virginia, against Virginia Tech, where they allowed over 50 points to Wake Forest, over 40 points to Virginia Tech and Virginia, and allowed all those teams to torch them through the air? They allowed Virginia Tech to torch them on the ground. Which defense is going to show up for UNC? One that has been so inconsistent this year. And keep in mind, they're going to be without their leading tackler in Chaz Surratt, the quarterback converted linebacker. Leading tackler has 91 tackles on the year. He's not going to be playing. So your leading rusher's not playing. Your leading wide receiver's not playing. Your leading tackler's not playing. UNC's got some major holes to fill and some players are going to have some major shoes to fill on both sides of the ball in this one if they want to pull off this upset over Texas A&M. I have one key to the game, guys. I have one key to the game down in Miami, and it's a big one. It's a big one. Any game, guys, whoever wins the line of scrimmage, whoever can win the battle in the trenches, has a better chance, obviously, of winning the game. And that's the storyline I'm looking at right now between Texas A&M and North Carolina. We mentioned earlier that Texas A&M has one of the best offensive lines in the country. And these stats speak for themselves. Texas A&M has allowed, they've played 9 games, 9 SEC games, mind you, and they've allowed 4 sacks. Kellen Mond has been sacked 4 times all year long. How about that, guys? How about that? They've opened lanes for Spiller. They've given Mond time. He's hardly been touched this season. 4 sacks all year long, but North Carolina has 33. North Carolina has recorded 33 sacks. Who wins that battle there? Does Texas A&M's offensive line continue to hold strong, or does North Carolina break through, pressure Mond, and make the life a little bit difficult for him in the backfield and make life difficult for the A&M running game too? You look at the other side of things, North Carolina, their offensive line's been shaky this year. They've allowed 30 sacks so far this season. Texas A&M has 24. So A&M right now, to me, owns the offensive line edge. North Carolina might own the defensive line edge, but that's not going to matter much if they can't create any pressure. And I can guarantee you A&M will create pressure against this Tar Heels offensive line. So again, you break down every position group here. You look at, starting at quarterback, you run all the way down to the bottom of every position group. It might be relatively even. I give the quarterback edge to North Carolina. The running back edge, I'd say, is even now. If Michael Carter was playing, I'd give it to North Carolina, but it's just going to be Javonte Williams with Isaiah Spiller. I think you group those two together. Wide receiver edge might go to North Carolina. Tight end edge certainly goes to Texas A&M. Offensive line edge goes to Texas A&M. And you can keep going down the list. And again, I think you're going to see those two teams be relatively even, maybe slightly in favor of the Aggies. But that battle in the trenches is so key in this one, guys. And if Mond has all day to throw, if Spiller eclipses 100 yards or at least 100 yards rushing in this game, I don't see how North Carolina holds on to win the Orange Bowl. And guys, I think that's exactly what's going to happen. I think Texas A&M is going to show up. They're going to be angry that they were left out of the college football playoff. And they're not going to put a beat down on North Carolina, but they are going to beat the Tar Heels. Look at a few extra numbers here. Texas A&M has allowed 50 rushing yards or less in 4 of their last 6 games. They take away Javonte Williams, again, a 1,000-yard rusher for the Tar Heels. They take him away, make North Carolina one-dimensional, Sam Howell having to air it out constantly without his top wide receiver. It's going to make things a lot more difficult for UNC, things a lot easier for Texas A&M, especially if they are creating pressure on Sam Howell. So I think the Aggies come into this game, again, angry, feeling that they were snubbed of the playoff spot. They're ready to make a statement against a good UNC team. Isaiah Spiller rushes for at least 100 yards. Mond throws for at least 200 yards. Texas A&M eclipses 30 points in this game, and they defeat the Tar Heels in the Orange Bowl, completing an unbelievable year down in College Station, but a year that will forever be remembered as a what-if year. What if we had made the college football playoff? A spot that, again, many believe that Aggies should have had. So guys, thank you so much for watching us here at the Gridiron Expert on YouTube. Make sure to continue to like, comment, subscribe, and share our videos. Also, make sure to check out everything down in the description below. We have exclusive Gridiron Expert merchandise for you guys and exclusive Gridiron Expert content for you guys on our website, thegridironexpert.com, our Patreon account, and exclusive offers for you as well over on betnow.eu. Make sure to go give that a look. All those things down in the description. And once again, guys, as always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time right here on the Gridiron Expert.